Hello YouTube. First of all, thank you very much for all your valuable comments in the comment section. I really appreciate that. It helps me a lot to get feedback from this really amazing community. As Anton Milosevic wrote, some of you guys want to see much more details here. Therefore, I reverse engineered the whole circuitry of the power electronics module, and I will describe all different parts of it in detail, step by step, so that every one of you can easily understand what's going on here. Let's get started. Okay, the first part of the circuitry is the input stage. We have the NTC that limits the inrush current and the MOV, also called varistor, that prevents the circuit from transient voltage spikes. These two capacitors are called X capacitors. This is basically a common mode noise filter, a choke, common mode noise choke. And after that, we have the Y capacitor, as you can see in this diagram. NTC, MOV, common mode noise choke, the X cap, also a X cap, and the two Y caps. So this is a input filter and also an input protection as well that provides the main power supply to the rectifier. The next step is the full bridge rectifier, which converts our filtered AC voltage into DC voltage that will be stabilized by these two electrolytic capacitors. So this is the full bridge rectifier, and these two capacitors here are the electrolytic capacitors to filter the rectified output voltage here. These two capacitors here do also have another very important function. Instead of using only one capacitor for filtering the output voltage of the full bridge rectifier, by using two capacitors, the output voltage here will be more or less split into two equal voltages. So if you assign your reference voltage 0 volts to this point, you get V plus here and V minus here. Having this in mind, let's have a closer look at the power MOSFET stage here. As you can see, both high side and low side power MOSFETs have been connected in parallel. This has been done in order to meet the maximum output requirements of the power supply. Two transistors in parallel are stronger than a single one. It's as simple as that. Let's now assume that the high side MOSFETs get conductive and the low side power MOSFETs get non-conductive. Then a current can flow through the high side FETs, through the transformer coils, over the low side capacitor down to V minus. If these transistors get non-conductive and the low side FETs get conductive, then a current can flow through the high side capacitor, through the transformer coils, and through the low side power MOSFETs. So all this circuit here does is applying a AC voltage to this two transformer coils, which is flipping its direction back and forth, either this direction or this direction. So this is a DC AC converter, this part of the circuitry. So let's have a look at the two transformers here. The first one is a very small one that is only used to monitor the current that is flowing through this path. The output of the transformer goes to the switch mode power supply controller. So this one here is the little transformer for the monitoring purpose. As you can see, I've disconnected the wires. And the second one here, I labeled it 3, is the main transformer here. This transformer transforms all the energy that will be outputted by the power supply. So this is the most important part here. It's this one. The output of this transformer is connected to a discrete rectifier circuit built of discrete diodes in a TO247 housing. These are the diodes. As you can see, always 4 of these diodes have been connected in parallel. This is also to ensure that the maximum current rating of these diodes will not be exceeded. And there's only another coil here used for filtering purpose. It's this one here. It's a transformer, but only one coil. And so the output is rectified over these diodes and filtered. And there's also a stabilization capacitor here, a load, and a shunt resistor, which is used to measure the current, the output current of the power supply. And after the shunt, there's a final stabilization electrolytic capacitor that filters the output stage. So this is the shunt. Here you can connect the load. The load is this power resistor. And these are the electrolytic stabilization capacitors. The last part of the circuit controls the power MOSFETs. This is this coil here. It has 3 windings. All of them have the same ratio, but they are connected in this way. So whenever you get V on this side, you get minus V on that side. That ensures that whenever you have a positive VGS on the high side FETs, you get a negative VGS on the low side FETs, which ensures whenever they are conductive, they are non-conductive. Whenever they are non-conductive, they are conductive. Honestly speaking, I don't like this way to control power MOSFETs because it's not very accurate. Therefore, I will desolder this coil here and replace it by a little PCB with some proper power MOSFET drivers, and I will also add some optocouplers here. Yeah, I hope you liked this tutorial. Please give me your feedback in the comment section. If you have any questions, just drop me a line there. And yeah, I'm very interested. Did you like this or not? Have I missed anything here? Please let me know what you think regarding this tutorial. Bye bye. You won't believe this. Although I knew that this board should be defect because the power supply is not working anymore, I just said to myself, well, let's see if it works. And I connected my frequency generator here with 23 kilohertz. This is the gate signal of the power MOSFET stage here. And I also connected the variable AC power supply, so not a full 220 volts, but only 50. And it's amazing. It still works. That means actually the controller board, this one, there's something wrong with this board here, but I will throw this away anyway. So yeah, the power circuitry works perfectly fine. Yeah, nice.